Hey everybody, this is Mike from the Hideaway Homestead, and on today's episode we're putting on a couple of add-ons to the side-by-side. I purchased a cargo rack area so that I can store lumber in the back of the bed here easier. I can stack it up higher. And also we bought a set of new tires. The tires are a little bit nicer. They've got better ply protection on them so that if I run over something sharp, they're less likely to get punctured. And they have a little bit better grab on them, a little bit better tread. If you're new to the show, consider subscribing. We come out with new episodes every Thursday. And if you like this episode, we'd really appreciate it if you clicked like down below. All right, let's get to it. Let's get this thing done. All right, so this is the cargo kit for the back of the Polaris. We have a Ranger 500, and we ended up buying this from the Polaris dealership there in Petersburg, West Virginia. So it was a little bit of a drive from here, but went over there and picked it up. They're not sponsoring the video or anything like that, but I would definitely recommend if you're in that area, stop by. It was a pretty nice shop, and they were pretty good people. So let's go ahead and get this thing open and see what we're dealing with here. All right, yeah, this is already, I can tell this is going to be really nice. This looks like really durable metal. I mean, this thing's rock solid. It's got some weight to it too. I like that. And I'm not sure exactly where this piece goes, but you can already see, like, this is kind of what we're talking about here. We're gonna have this really nice sidewall that we're gonna be putting on. So let me just lay that there for now. All right, and that's everything that's in the box. So, let's go ahead and open these up. All right, there's some parts. And we got some different length bars here. So the one on the left seems to be a lot longer than this one on the right. I'm not sure what those go to, but I suspect we're gonna find out. So it looks like there's a parts list in this bag. And let me check to see what we got going on here. All right, well, that's a good sign. We've got the instruction kit here, so you can see all the moving parts there. Let me back that out a little bit. And yeah, so you can see kind of the instructions there for setup. And there we go. All right. And let's see, read these instructions before you begin. You know, most guys don't read instructions. We don't need these things, but I'm gonna read the instructions. Says we should be using safety glasses, a screwdriver, a socket set, and then a wrench set. All right, so I'm gonna go get those tools and I will be right back. Okay, so we got some of the tools out that they were saying were needed. And I think we're gonna be good to go. So put my safety glasses on. All right, it says shift this vehicle transmission into park, turn the key off. Yep, so I've already done that. This thing's locked in. All right, install pilot 14 into the LH sidewall. So that is this step down here. Pilot into the sidewall. So only one side appears to have the tap that's been put in here for this piece. So, and then it looks like this sits in that, and then we're supposed to run one of the hexes through the top here and then twist it. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way so that you all can kind of get a good view of that as I'm doing it. And it says to use a number 13, and it says that there's 2 screws with a hex head. So I'm assuming that's this guy right here. So let me stick this here. It's like a hardened plastic, but I would not over tighten it. Just tighten it by hand and you should be good to go. Okay, so that one's in. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. The audio went out on the microphone, but you can see here I'm explaining that these little pressure fitted fittings needed to be installed into the sidewall. So look, you're gonna wanna lay the washer down. There's a rubber gasket that sits on top of that. There's kind of this long hard plastic piece. Then there's like another rubber gasket that's sitting here. Okay, and then I believe this part here that actually has the washer on it is the part that has to go through the top here. So, and it's showing it in these 2 locations. So I'm gonna run this down so that that's sitting there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put these things back on in the order in which I took them off. So I'm gonna put that piece there, this piece, this rubber gasket, and the washer, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and put the nut back on that was sitting on it. And I got the feeling that that's supposed to go on there pretty tight, so let's see. And you can see here, this washer is actually getting thickened up. So I think we're in the right spot here. Because I think what you're supposed to do is once that sinks down into the hole, you pull the clip down, and when the washer expands, it's gonna hold it tight to the bed wall. And everybody's models, may be different. I realized that when I went to go put this in, though, that there was no spot here or no hole for it on the wall. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave these 2 in place, and that'll be enough. We're gonna have a cross beam here that's supporting it. But just so you know that the way that this should be facing on the inside is that this wall actually has a spot that has a gap, and then on the other side, there is no gap. It's flush, okay? The flush side should be facing out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and line this up, slide that down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull the clamps down. and that's going to tension it up. Remember the rubber gaskets in there that I was showing you. This thing's locked in now. All right, again, the flush side should be facing out and the gapped side facing in. All right, and watch your hands. And we're gonna push that down. That's gonna give it some tension. I got that one a little tight, I think. And that one down. Locked in. That's actually pretty easy. Polaris did a good job with that. It says here that the next step is to slide the inner tube into the outer tube, then secure with 2 screws. Okay, so what we have is a mid-size Ranger, so it's saying that, and we don't have a Henig rack kit that's already built in. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this tube, and it says that we have to slide this into the other tube. You'll know if you have a mid-size Ranger or not because you'll have a tag in the back of your bed here, or maybe even somewhere else on the Ranger, but it's going to tell you if it's a mid-size or if it's a full-size. And this one's a mid. So the instructions are saying that we have to slide this inner tube into where the outer tube is. Pretty easy. And the inner tube has 3 holes drilled into it, and what it's saying is use the 2 inner holes, okay? So in other words, if you have a full size, you're going to be sitting like this, right? You're going to have an extra hole out here, but since we're the mid size, we're going to go in to there, and then we're going to go ahead and screw these in. Okay, so if you have the Henig rack kit installed, you're going to be using these rubber bumper guards, and you're going to be using this these kind of C-shaped clamps here, these J-hooks. Okay, so we don't have that on this vehicle, so I'm going to go ahead and take those, put them to the side. That's where these other pieces come into play. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to go ahead and install this in here, all right? And the way that this works is we need to install these rings, okay? And then we're gonna have this piece sitting in here like this. This is where it's useful if you have somebody who can help you hold the bar up, another set of hands, they can kind of hold that there in place for you. As usual though, if you don't have another set of hands, you can always get some clamps. In this case, I'm going to have Vanessa help me out. And I'm just hand tightening it from behind. I know you can't see it very well, but leave that there. And I'm going to do the next one. I didn't want the bolts sticking towards the inside either, like this. In case you're in the back of it and you're moving around and picking up wood or whatever. I didn't want anybody hurting themselves. So the nice thing about this cargo kit is that, let me lay this down real quick, is that it comes with these really useful utility hooks here too. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these on the side. Again, with the remainder of the hex bolts and nuts that it came with. I'm gonna go ahead and install these on the side. There's 2 for each side, so 4 total. These are really useful. I think I'm gonna go high with mine because I may at some point modify the side of the box here to hold like a chainsaw, maybe my rifle if I decide to use this to go hunting. But super useful, you can hang anything off this, so let's do it. We actually have the sidewalls up. We've got the cross beam back here to keep this rigid. Everything's sitting down really good. I'm gonna call this part done. Now let's get these tires on. All right, so the next thing that I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and put these new tires on. I have the stock tires that came with the side-by-side, and we're gonna keep those. Those are gonna make a great backup in case something happens to these tires and we need to have a spare set lying around. The ones that I bought, I'll put a link down in the description. I'll actually put a link down in the description too for the cargo walls that I had bought. Something to know about these tires. So they're actually 2 different sets of tires. So this tire here is 9 inches versus this one here, which is 11 inches. So you need to make sure that you're careful. You're gonna see that it's gonna say 26 by 11 on the sidewall, and then this one's gonna say 26 by 9. The smaller tires need to go into the front of the side-by-side, and then you're gonna put your larger tires in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll get these things on here, and then we'll give her a test run and see how things are going. For this particular side-by-side, I'm using a 14 millimeter or a 3/8 inch socket so that I can take these off. It actually also happens to match the new lug nuts that they gave me there at the dealership. So a couple of safety things first. First, make sure that you keep the side-by-side parked. It's in a parked position right now. If you have some sort of paddle jack or you have some sort of lift that you can lift this up, great. Not everybody has that. So I'm gonna show you how to do this just using a standard car jack. This might be something that's in your, in your household vehicle, or really pretty standard with most vehicles at this point. Okay, so you're gonna see here, we have the frame of the side-by-side. That's what I want to get the jack underneath. Let's get it pretty high up to begin with. Just do that by hand until we can get some tension under it. And I'm gonna put it right about here. So I'm gonna get it right underneath of the frame there. And I know it's kind of hard to see. Okay, so it's tensioned under there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the crowbar in, or I'm gonna put the lug nut wrench in. Come on. There we go. And we're lifting the tire up now. This part's pretty easy if you have an impact wrench. Again, if you don't, you can just use a hand wrench. If you don't have one of those, if you happen to have a lug nut wrench that's of the right size, you could actually use that. So I have this, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. I'm gonna go in reverse to take the lug nuts out. And I'm gonna be doing opposite sides first. Take the washers off. And we're gonna take the tire off. And it's that easy. All right. And I had to take, there was a little rubber cap that was sitting here. I had to take that off. Same as before, I'm not gonna tighten the new ones on. I'm gonna do alternating first, okay? And then I'll tighten them up. So there, I kind of stopped. I felt it grab. Now I'm gonna do the other side. Up. Went a little too far on that one, but we'll go ahead and stop. I'm gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna stop. And then we'll do this next one. Okay, now I'm gonna tighten up. Okay. So I've got this one on. I'm just gonna do the other three again. The two back ones are gonna be the 11s, and the two fronts are gonna be the 9s. Once I get them all done, we'll give this thing a test drive, and then we're done for the day. Well, everybody, that's it for this week. So we got the cargo rack in, and it turned out really nice. I'm very happy with this. And as you saw, we got all the tires installed, the tread and everything, and even the rims on these are a lot nicer than the stock ones that came with the Ranger. I gotta say, I'm very pleased. Again, can't say it enough. Check out the Polaris dealership there in Petersburg if you're ever in the West Virginia area. Very nice folks there, and they have a really cool shop that has an attached restaurant. It's pretty neat. They did not sponsor this video. And all right, I'm gonna give this a ride, and I'll catch you later. And don't forget, make time for dirt time.